Hey, good morning. This is Chuck Tomasi, and I am with ServiceNow here in the community to do another live community session for you where I go through a number of things in the community that I find usually related to developers, custom applications, integrations. I help where I can, and I try to provide direction where I can't help directly. That's my motivation, and I'm sticking with it. I've been with ServiceNow for about 7.5 years, and having a good time all along. I was a customer for a couple of years before that. If this is your first time joining us, thank you. Thank you very much. For those watching live, thank you for those watching later. And I hope you find this useful, maybe mildly entertaining, somewhat educational. The idea behind this is that I'm on the community on a regular basis anyway, so I'm going to show you not only what I know, but how I know what I know, and do some investigation and hopefully pass these tips and tricks on to you to figure out, hey, what's the table name for this? Or what's the field name for that? Or how do I know what's happening when I do this other thing? The platform is pretty well laid out and pretty logical in my opinion, and easy to do some of this detective work. And I will show those steps to you where I can, rather than just providing an answer in the community. I'll add best practices, I'll add tips. Sometimes you'll see me scripting live. Sometimes there's even career advice. You never know what's going to come up. So I also want to encourage you to go to developer.servicenow.com. If you haven't done that already, go pick up a free developer instance and check out the APIs and the learning paths. You can learn so much by doing this. Your developer instance will look, something like this, maybe even stay logged in, whereas mine has been idle for a few minutes. You can get that over at servicenow.com. Even use the latest Kingston release, which isn't publicly available as of this recording. It is December, 19th already? Oh my goodness, only a few days left to Christmas. I will do a show tomorrow, which is Wednesday, and Thursday, if everything works out all right. And then Friday, I'm on holiday. We'll take the rest of the year off of this show, and I'll rejoin you back after the first of the year. So that's the plan for that. Go over to developer.servicenow.com. Also, you can catch me on YouTube if you're watching this some other way. I'm on YouTube streaming this at, whatever it is, 8 a.m. Eastern Time in the U.S., and you can figure out where it is from there. I am not in the Eastern Time, which is why I had that lag for figuring out what time it is. Also available on Twitch if you want to watch live, or over there. Twitch.tv/NOWCommunity is the place to go for that. One more reminder, I believe. Let's go to Knowledge in May 7th through 10th in Las Vegas this year. Knowledge is the conference for ServiceNow users. You know what? I've got an issue saying my YouTube stream is offline. I'm going to check that real quick, see what I can find. Oh, no, it is working. Okay, good. Whew. Thought maybe I had a streaming issue. All good news there. It looks like Twitch is also working. So if I'm not using enough bandwidth, 6 a.m. is a good time. Knowledge, whether you are developer, admin, architect, manager, CIO, it's all there for you. Looking forward to seeing you there. We're planning up a wonderful CreatorCon event at Knowledge for developers. Stuff is really starting to move along, and there are other events that we've got planning as well. This is going to be a cool year for developers. So hope to see you there. Number 6 is the community, which is where I do all my work. If you've got a question, please post it in the community over at community.servicenow.com. If you ask it in YouTube or Twitch, I'm going to tell you to put it in the community, because YouTube and Twitch don't stick around. They're not searchable. And while it seems like an easy way to ask a question, it's actually harder for somebody to find an answer to the same question later. And it's harder for me to respond. And if we don't get it resolved today, then we don't have any record of what's going on, and it just gets all lost. It's not a good system of record. It's like the difference between using email and ServiceNow. So how's that for an analogy? Made that one up on the fly. So let's go over to the community. First, let's remember to always put our title away. I think I got that. Let's go to small head, no title. And let's get started with the day's work now that the introductions are over. Let's see what we've got here. I'm going to look for things that have come in overnight. Good morning, Patrick. Good to hear from you. Kumar, I believe you've been on here before. Thank you very much. Gotta stay hydrated. So pardon the indulgence of a little drink of water here and there. Update the position. Did I refresh that? I don't remember if I did. I was saying my good mornings. When is RDN in OU definition in... What is RDN? You know, I haven't used Active Directory or LDAP in forever. But let's find out. Root domain name? I don't know. Let's find out. What is RDN? If you see the images below in groups here taken CN user, users are taken OU sites. Oh, he's just asking, what is the RDN? The RDN is defined in the LDAP diff. Oh, RDN. Oh, RDN. That looks like somebody changed the name, the label. Let me see something. Let's do, oh, not that. LDAP. LDAP servers, LDAP monitor data sources. What was that image? That was an image of LDAP OU definition. Okay. Back to my instance. Example LDAP users, which should have a reference. Here's my LDAP target. Click through to that. And usually labels have nice hoverovers with them. Relative distinguished name to process. I knew that. Let's take a screenshot of that. Hey, screenshot, please. Stay there. Stay there. There we go. And if you hover over the field label, you will see something like this. RDN stands for Relative Distinguished Name? I don't remember. Yes. It's where you start. There we go. Patrick, you're quick this morning. Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Gajeli. I hope I said that right. Hope everybody's doing well today. Thank you for joining. This is Live Community, where I go through whatever I can find, whatever I can help with, and give you some of the hints on how I solve these problems. Not just throwing answers in the community, but giving you the insights as to how I come up with those answers. We got a few new things coming up here. Thank you very much. No approval stage in workflow, but my request widget shows it up. Let's find out what's up with that. Set assignment group depend on service owner by. Not able to create relationship in CMDB. Default approval engine for catalog tasks set as process guide. Okay, let's look at these one by one, see what we can come up with. Don't always have the answers. Sometimes I don't even have a clue. I have a catalog item where not approval stage is defined in workflow, but my request widget waiting for approval shows up. Can anybody suggest how this can be? Because the stages you are using in that item are defined in the workflow. So if you go to workflow editor, I'm going to pick on one. This is a freshly wiped instance. So I may not have everything that I usually think I have. This is always fun. And I know out of the box, we'll just take service item request. Check that out. And in the properties, of course, everything I say, you know, I really need to turn on some sort of speech to text thing so that I can record these responses faster than I can type them. But with technical terms, I'm sure you know that doesn't always work well. Edit stages, that's what I want. Jitendra. The stages are defined on the workflow under the workflow menu. Choose Edit Stages. You may not be using approval, but it's part of the set. It's part of the stages defined by the workflow. You can create your own. This is where I need the speech to text thing. Create your own stages and use those as well. And if we go to the doc site, let's look for workflow stages. Stage sets, that's the one I want. And provide a friendly link. There we go. Boom. Post that. Apologies for the oversized picture. Can I scale that down a little bit? Can I scale that down? Apparently not, but that's okay. Might be really big. Good morning to those that are watching on YouTube and or Twitch. Oh, time flies. It's already almost quarter past the hour. Let's see. This is going to be a busy morning. Default approval engine for catalog tasks set to process guide. Crank through these. Set assignment group. Let's make sure that nothing's happened here. Owned by. What is owned by? Trying to auto-populate the assignment groups on the finance form according to the value on the service field. The problem is that I have too many service groups and service offering in order to match the right default support group. Found the owned by is as a unique value finance. So what I need is to create a client script that is checking if the service offering owned by finance is set. Set the assignment group to finance system group. I would recommend doing this without any scripting, because this is hard-coded and this is going to have to come back and be maintained as group names change and system names change. I want to make this as data-driven as possible, and the best way I know to do that is to use data lookups. Data lookup rules. There it is. Hi, Shay. I recommend staying away from a script to do this. It's only going to cost you maintenance and testing later. Instead, make this data-driven using a data lookup. Easy to build, flexible to change, even in production, and no scripting. Yay! Okay. And yes, it will modify the values as you change them if you choose. I have an episode of the Tech Shorts video coming up. I believe it's number 10. We just released number 4 last night. So in a few weeks, because they're coming out weekly. Tech Shorts can be found on the ServiceNow developer channel on YouTube. Today was using Easy Import. Episode 4, import my legacy data. Not able to create a relationship in CMDB. I am not able to create a relationship with CI and CMDB. Below are the steps which I am following. Go into Windows Server class. Open the CI and click the plus button. On the plus side, I'm getting below error message. I can't quite read that. Let's blow that up. It forces to use suggested relationship, but there is no suggested relationship to display. Please add suggestion relationship type for this class. Okay. So uses runs on runs. As far as I know, ECMDB admin is the role which is needed to create relationships in CI, and this user has the same role. Suggested relationships are held. This is really old data or knowledge for me. Suggested relationships, can they go into configuration relationship, suggested relationships? Let's find out. Hi, IJ. Does the user with ECMDB admin have access to the suggested relationships table? Shown below. Shown below. If so, is there a relationship for the, what was it, source and target types? I'm trying to remember what the names were on that. Base and dependent class. And dependent classes you are looking for. Let's go to suggested relationships. Never hurts. Add suggested CI relationship. There we go. Perfect. We don't need the wiki. There we are. See if anything new has come in while I chip away at these. ServiceNow performance benchmarks. How Active Directory mapped with ServiceNow. Explain LDAP Active Directory linked to ServiceNow. How to remove duplicates from VM table based on memory and other device information populated. Moving right along. Let's go to the inbox. I suspect some of these conversations are starting to take a life of their own. A notification can be created with timer. Oh, this was something somebody mentioned on my behalf. The conversation started a day ago, and somebody mentioned my scriptless scheduled jobs add-on that I had made back in October of 2016. Wow, time flies. Just an update set you can apply, which allows you to create scheduled jobs. In certain cases, you don't need any script. I used a condition builder and a field setter to say, hey, go look for records that match this condition, and when you find them, process them with this, almost like a template value. So I can look for any approvals that have been sitting on approval for, or needs approval for 7 days, and if they are, I can cancel them, or I can trigger notifications with an event. Very easy, common use cases. Look for knowledge base articles that are coming due in 30 days and send a reminder. Easy stuff like that. Easy stuff like that. And I said, thanks for the mention. That was very nice. How can I achieve this from workflow? Not per day. It is for every 15 days. Using scheduled jobs is working, but how can I achieve this using workflow? Take a look at the timer activity. I found them very useful to trigger off dates based on field values or relative values, usually 3 days before due date. Let's give them a friendly link to that. Timer activity. It's probably going to say timer workflow activity. There it is. Starting to get to know the titles of the new articles. Oh, that's not it. Where'd it go? It was in the inbox, wasn't it? It was part of a discussion. Okay, thank you very much. Active Directory is mapped with ServiceNow. Explain LDAP Active Directory. Can you explain the structure of LDAP Active Directory ServiceNow? Active Directory maintained by ServiceNow team or LDAP administrators. How Active Directory field is mapped to ServiceNow? That's done with an import set. So let's look for something simple like LDAP integration. Ta-da! Wow, getting lucky with the searches today. I recommend you start here. There is also an FAQ, which I saw here. And if you need additional information, additional training, or prefer an interaction to your instructor, let's make this a little more friendly. Shanika. That's a big topic to cover in the community. Okay, and if you need additional training, we offer an implementation specialist course that covers LDAP integrations as part of the content. There we go. Done. Patrick saying, look like their data was deleted. Which thread was that on, Patrick? Default approval engine for catalog is set as process guides. Currently trying to figure out the correct / best way for creating approvals for certain catalog tasks. In an out-of-box instance, the approval engine is set to process guide. My understanding, process guide is a legacy feature, and therefore I'm trying to find out why catalog task is set to process guide, and if this is still the preferred way of doing approvals. That is an interesting configuration option. I'm trying to remember where those are. Approval type definitions? Nope. Task assignment definitions? Nope. Not under contract. System policy rules approval. System property approval engines. That's what it was. Change task is set to process guide too. Turn engines off, turn engines off, turn engines off, turn engines off. The options are approval rules, turn engines off. You know, I always forget about this table. Turn engines off means the workflow is going to do it for you. Use this when workflow is being used. Yeah, I think that's just a legacy thing because I'm noticing a couple others like change task is also on. We don't generally do approvals at that level. Christopher looks like a legacy thing. Don't normally, let's see. Took a look at my Kingston instance and saw change task is set the same way as a C task. Since few people do approvals on the task level of change and request, it's not likely that anyone has run into problems on this before. If you find you must use approvals on one of these tables, feel free to update accordingly. E.g., if you, when using the workflow, set it to all engines off. Sounds like you're driving a ship. All engines off, sir. Turn engines off. Full stop. Hard right rudder. There we are. Yay! Okay, Patrick says, the CMDB relationship. All records are gone. Export and import from another instance, maybe? CN means, OU means. There we go. Patrick's on it this morning. Way to go. I like it. Good job. I do remember 2 out of 3 of those, the OU and the CN. My Active Directory knowledge isn't that rusty. It's one of those obscure things I have stuck away from 2002, although I have older stuff from 1989 and beyond. Random computer facts you remember from 30 years ago or more. Why? I don't know. Okay, instance not working. People do not want to have duplicate incident numbers. Does anyone have real world want that? No, generally not. Is Popesh the one who started this? No. Go ahead and check the unique checkbox on the dictionary. I think that's what it was. I'll get a picture of that in a second. Entry to force uniqueness. However, if you are doing an import, you could encounter issues with existing records, or if you are creating new ones, you could get errors when someone tries to create a new record and encounters a uniqueness issue. They may not understand and get frustrated. Just telling you, it's happened before. Let's go to System Dictionary. Oops, come on. Sysdictionary.list. I know, I could have typed dictionary and clicked it. I'm a keyboard guy. Let's look at something with number. There we go. And these all have next numbers on them, so sure, why not? Let's take one of these. And I believe you got to look at the advanced view to see this. Oh, that is the advanced view. Where did unique go? Calculated? Not an attribute. Well, I seem to have forgotten, or I misremembered. Uniqueness. Require unique values for a field. System allows required make value unique. Configure dictionary. Configure the form. It's not on the form by default because it's not that usually used. Okay. Note, you may need to add the unique field to the dictionary form, or personalize the list and modify it there, but there. Ding. I was curious why sometimes the link collapses to just text and sometimes it doesn't. All right, it's half past the hour. Thanks for joining me on Live Community. Icon over the variable. Conditional scheduled imports. Help with workflow approvals based on variable selection. That's ServiceNow performance benchmarks. Maybe take a look at that. Dig in there. We got a response back on that particular one. I'd like to know about what is login distinguished name. Is it company LDAP server user ID? What is search directory? DC equals Google, DC equals com. These are all very well explained in the documentation and the step-by-step. Login distinguished name is your login of the AD user doing the integration. Starting search directory is a way to tap into one of the branches of the AD forest. And so you don't search the entire thing, just the org you need. We used to have a pretty extensive forest in our old company because we had lots of acquisitions and mergers, and it just made that thing a big old mess. It was nice from the fact that when you did an acquisition, you could just bring in their information, but it also made searching kind of messy, especially if you had two users with the same login ID in two different OUs. Active Directory was fine with that. ServiceNow was not. Like, hey, I've got Dan.Smith in the EMEA OU, and I've got Dan.Smith in the Americas OU, and what a mess. Icon over the variable. I had a tricky requirement in the catalog item, which a variable created for looking up select box, an icon added to beside the variable, and the icon name is icon info, and the drop down in the user table. So when we select the icon info, which there's a drop down selected, they should view as user reference in the pop-up icon. This is icon, which I mean it. And we select the icon info, which they're in drop down selected. That should be a view of the user. Looks like they're using a reference variable as a choice list, which is perfectly legal to do. I'm not sure what the requirement is here. I'm not sure what the requirement or issue is here. Can we fix this? Oh, really? Usually they have the suggested spellings. The issue is here. It appears that someone is using a choice list view of a reference field, which is fine unless there are tens or hundreds of choices. Then it's a bit long for a good user experience. When you choose a name, the info icon will provide you a link to the actual user's record. Let's find out more details. What's the requirement? Initial scheduled imports. I was working on a scheduled import and I want to execute the scheduled import based on condition. Can someone share the sample script to evaluate true false? I want to write a script like below. Like all P1 incidents, this scheduled import will execute. Okay, the condition is once this time hits, it's not. Yeah, that's not really what the condition is for, Ganesh. Hi, Ganesh. Condition field simply says, I want this script to run. I want this scheduled job to run, or import, in your case, to run when the condition is true. Are you just looking to skip the scheduled import, skip the job when there are no P1 issues? So normally that would go in the that's going to send true, answer equals true like 50 times. Let's find out. Good job, Patrick. I like the script formatting too. It's a beautiful thing. Help with workflow approvals based on variable selection. Anybody touch this one yet? Oh man, it's a long one. See if I can get my head around this in about 30 seconds. Out of the table, U database roles. Depending upon what roles are selected, there are different approvers. U role owner, the user can select up to 5 roles, which means there are 5 different approvers. I have tried the role owners by sysid into an array, but the workflow errors out at the first approver. Here's my workflow and errors out in red. So set values awaiting approval, run script, request for user approval, which then goes to run script. There's a branch. Rating approval role owner 1, role owner 2, role owner 3. Looks like it just kind of loops around. Getting a little confused with the crossed up wires here, but 3, 4, 5. Okay. So workflow scratchpad role names is an array which has stuff in it. Role names to string. Here's my approval script where it errors out. grget is going to go by sysid. Those don't look like sysids to me. Those look like role names. Each of the approval items is designated with an array number 1 through 4. I would say 0 through 4, but okay. Execution order result. No approval user selected in advanced script cannot convert null to an object. Answer to a separate. Okay. First, by Nicole. The first thing I noticed is that your group names is being used as a sysid. When you do a glide record get, it assumes the argument is a sysid, unless you put in a second arg as a field name. Try this instead. gr.getName with, what was it, workflow, scratchpad, Workflow.scratchpad roll under names sub 0. Workflow.scratchpad.roll names sub 0. Shouldn't have been I. Okay, well, that's just getting one of them. Change you under name to your appropriate name field. Close. I think we're very close, but this is one of those that could go on for days. Next, let's see what's in the inbox. Something jumped in there. Mark Patrick says, helpful. Are we at the end of this discussion? Hooray, we are. Okay. Login, distinguished name, all this good stuff. Good job, Patrick. Thanks for the help on that one. We got another satisfied community customer. Anything new in here? Advanced relationship query. Created workflow for my item. There is less activity, but I saw SC rec item all activity. Not sure what that says, but we'll take a look. This one may be interesting. We have a parent table. X data rep maintenance parent data link contract. I'm just going to call it data link contract. And child table contract item. Following relationship script allows me to display all related child records from the parent form by pulling all child contracts out of the same contract number company and coverage type manufacturer. Getting lost in the business details. Okay, current.add query. .add condition. .add condition. Now I want to be able to display all attachments from the child table records from the parent form. I know the table is this attachment. I don't think I can create the same kind of query with relationship since there are 3 tables involved. Do I need to create a custom query using advanced relationship? Would I put the code in the query from? I want to be able to display all attachments from the child table records. Where do you want to display those? That's my question. Hi, David. Where do you want to display the attachments for the child records, and why? A screenshot or mock-up would be useful. You know what they say about a picture being worth 1,000 words. All right, moving along. We got conditional scheduled imports. Ganesh has come back with this and said, thanks for the response, Patrick. That sample will help me. Can I do this like below? I wouldn't use glide record. If you've got 10 million records in there, you really only need one. Okay. Say if you do a glide record query and a while loop, you could be there a while as your list of records grows. You really only want to know if there is one record that matches the condition. All he's asking is, do I have any priority ones? Is answer the variable in there? That is a good question. Let's go to schedule jobs. Schedule jobs. New, what's he running? An import? Looks like an import. Report incident template, run a script of your choosing. Shouldn't matter because I thought there was a conditional field here. Yep. Come on, finish loading, finish loading, finish loading. Thank you. Execute this job only if the script evaluates to true. Okay. Question is, what it's got to evaluate to true. So I would say something like this might be more efficient. You only need one. Function. That off. Our inc equals new glide record incident inc.set limit 1 inc.add query priority 1 inc.query if inc.next return true. Return false. So we add hit it. See what happens. Completely untested code. Okay, we created a workflow. Let's get back to this one. Created a workflow for my sccat item. There is less activity, but I saw screc item, all activity showing. Can anyone tell me the difference between them? Create a workflow. When Windows is selected, it should go to an approval for Windows support. If Chrome is selected, create a task to Windows support team. If Firefox is selected, create or able tutor. When Linux is selected, If there is any software in single line text box, assign each task to both Windows support team and Linux support team. I don't see anything that's the difference between them. Well, the catalog item is like a blueprint. The catalog item, SC cat item, is a blueprint. It defines what the request item will look like. It doesn't actually run the workflow. Think of it more as a template, and it points to a workflow to run when the screc item, RITM, meets the proper conditions, which may be just having the record created. You can create conditional statements. You can use if statements, if activities to branch on your workflow, and task activities to create the tasks and assign them as you describe above. Pretty straightforward stuff, really. Sounds like you just need to do a little experimenting. Good, good. Thank you for watching. It is coming up on the top of the hour. And let's see what we have in the inbox. Do I want to start any new conversations at this point? Got a busy day today. Another busy day. I like getting this done in the morning. How to set field value asset status from a catalog item. I have a catalog item with a reference field uInstall status to ALM asset table. When users change the field value from the catalog item, should they be able to change the value in the install status of the ALM asset table? No. Oh, when they do, they should be able to. Thought it was a question. Thinking a run script from our workflow, but not sure how. Would love if someone could show me how this can be done. If you've got a reference to the record, you can update it. I'm not sure if that's already got the reference to the ALM asset. Was it ALM asset? Yes? Yes. Record. Then it's a pretty straightforward script to update the record. Var asset equals new glide record ALM asset. This is where speech to text might not work so well. If asset dot get current dot variables dot. Did he actually list the asset? uInstall status. That's the install status. ALM change ALM asset to your reference variable. Then asset dot install status equals current dot. It wasn't a variable, was it? Catalog item has a reference field. uInstall status. Okay. That is uInstall status. Your install status choice. Change this accordingly as well. Set.update. There we go. Get it, set it, update it. Done. Couple things in the inbox. Discussions going on. Patrick is responding. Good. So the script field may need an answer variable. I didn't see anything to lead me in that direction. Let's check the docs real quick. Okay, schedule jobs. There may be a definition on the field type. Let's find out. Schedule report, schedule script execution, really don't care. We'll pick that one. Active, run, condition. If conditional is checked, a script determines under what conditions the last expression of the script should evaluate to a Boolean true or false value. So my only statement is a function statement. So that's where I'm getting that from. Copy, paste. Paste. This is where I like this feature. Quote. My script only has one statement. the IEFF, I think that's what it is, function. Advanced relationship query. Disable all attachments related to the parent table. Child records is related list. The parent form below is what I use for project attachments. Cool. Let's take a closer look. Nested interval utilities. Never heard of that class before. There's my one thing I learned today. Patrick, I'm going to pick on your script a little bit, and I'm not going to put this in the community, but just for your reference, when you're in a loop, I would stick the sysids in an array and not build the string yourself. That way you don't get a comma on the front end, and the length of your query, the length of your list is technically accurate, because this will come out as, if there's just one sysid, it'll come out as comma and then a sysid. The other thing is to use a get value here, especially while you're in a loop, because glide records, well, I'm not sure this is actually a glide record, but I've been tripped up more times than I can count when sysid returns an object and then you try and stringify that in some way. So make this an array, do descendants.getValue sysid, and then down here you could do sysids.join with a comma, and it will be much more bulletproof against JavaScript weirdness, shall we say, because JavaScript is so loosely typed. Okay, it's not typed at all. How to push data from one form to another. I hope that helps. That's one of those things that if you're watching the video, bonus points for that. I'm not putting that anywhere in the community. I know I've mentioned that on numerous videos before, but as a matter of fact, I can't think of them at this point. Hi, Chuck. I'm also new to ServiceNow environment. Your comment make me a bit more confident. Need one help. Can you please tell me how to use client script to achieve the same? They're looking to copy information from one record to another. And with a client script, that's not the best idea. This is a discussion we were having yesterday, and they just jumped in and said, I want to do the same thing with a client script. Hi, Tushar. This is not a good use for client scripts. Copying data from one record to another. That's where you want to do the code on the server side, where you have access to the database directly. If you can elaborate on what your requirement or use case is, I'd be happy to comment on an appropriate solution. You may also want to consider posting your question in a new thread so that others can view and add their input as well. When you add something to a conversation, especially after the conversation is complete, it may get lost in the thread. All right, more comments. My goal by the end of the day is to get the inbox down to 0. Created a workflow. And Ashutosh says, oh, came in there. Please show me variable screenshot, single line of text. I have some questions. My choices of all fields, OS type. Okay. Just helping out with the workflow. Good, good. Some people will dig in way deeper than me. Icon over the variable. I have created the variable as lookup select box. So we're coming up with a, is this the catalog item one? No, this is the icon info reference. Created the variable as a lookup select box and type specification sysuser, and I've created an icon over variable as macro from this. I've created a macro script which I need to get the parameter for lookup select box. How to pull the data to check the parameter to view through icon. When I had a user in the lookup select box variable, and if I select as John, for example, and the same thing to view the icon while hover it. Okay, this is a built-in functionality for reference fields, and it sounds like you are trying to build the same functionality for a reference field, or for a choice field, as we include natively for reference fields. I'm going to suggest you not do this. It adds a lot of customization. Here's a best practice. If it's hard to build, it's going to be hard to maintain, and it may not be worth it. Just because someone says, hey, can we put that icon over here? Look for other ways to do this. And is going to be challenging to build, even more challenging to maintain, test, and upgrade. We have a lot of customers that used to do things like this that now report regretting having done it. Instead, I recommend going with a reference field and add a reference qualifier to narrow down the list of available users. And I will provide a link to reference qualifiers. Reference qualifier is one of the coolest things I learned when I was a customer. Actually, advanced reference qualifiers were cool. Use them less and less these days. I was in the inbox, right? Yes, okay. Use the built-in functionality, Luke. I haven't seen the Star Wars movie yet. Probably going to see that next week while I am off of work. And catch up on a lot of Netflix. The LDAP integration happened in my instance. I want to restrict category is contractual. I got an at mention here. Currently in existing system via LDAP, updating details in user table. Requirement is that when user type is contractual, then only once it email ID will update. After that, it's not going to update email ID or email exchange. Sounds like something you should be doing in a transform map. This sounds like something you want to do in a transform map. You can evaluate the incoming data and take appropriate actions on it via server-side script. Transform map scripts. Transform scripts. I can't remember what it's looking for. Transform map, create a transform map add-on before. No. Let's see, it's going to be in here. Script, transform script variables, transform map. Map with explicit transform map scripts. That'll work. Maybe what else? Okay, it is after the top of the hour. This is the workflow for the catalog item where they wanted Linux and Windows, and Ashutosh is happily managing that one. I am going to step away from that. How to change mobile UI app profile. This was originally posted a year ago. We mentioned that you can use a mobile view called mobile. And I created a view role on mobile and tablet for what it's worth, and it's logging. But it's not setting the actual view to something other than default mobile view. Can you have more than one mobile view? The answer to that is no. Mobile is mobile. Hi, Skylar. This time, mobile is mobile. There's only one. If you need more, I invite you to open an enhancement request, because that is an awesome idea. That is a really awesome idea. And Luca Caputo marked this as helpful about glide record set table name. And down here, this script is on the field. They're looking for a way to say, go look up this business service. If it's not found, then set this particular value. You know what? I may have to take that one, quote unquote, offline. So let me mark that as unread, which means it's still going to be in my inbox, which is terrible practice. I should really write that down as an action item somewhere. I'm going to go back to this and click that. Give you guys a reminder once again, if you are not already signed up. Where's my titler? That one? That one. Make my head bigger too. Where is it? That one. To head over to knowledge.servicenow.com. Check out what's coming. Don't forget, if you are interested in going to CreatorCon, you do need to check the box that says, I plan on attending CreatorCon. It's no additional cost, but you do get all the benefits. If you don't check that box, you don't get it on your badge, and you don't get into the CreatorCon labs and sessions that are available. So if you are interested, hey, even if you're not interested, just check the box. Then you can always make that decision at Knowledge to say what sessions are available in Knowledge and what sessions are available in CreatorCon. Remember, CreatorCon is targeted more towards the developer, and Knowledge may or may not have that deep of knowledge. If you wanted to go into IoT, if you wanted to go into REST APIs, that sort of stuff is going to be available at the CreatorCon part of Knowledge. So check that box if you're interested in going. And head over to developer.servicenow.com to get your free developer instance, sign up for that program, go through some of these learning paths. And with that, I will say farewell and see you tomorrow. Take care.